haven't been collecting as much as usual, but 3DO. Really fucking pleased. And 3DO games. These beasts. I've also got a few more PS3 games since last time. Some of it's good, some of it's shit, but a lot of it was free, so can't complain. I mean, yeah, conflicts with man. Not something I'd buy. I've made an attempt to cable manage and shit. So I got pretty much everything plugged into these 2 weeks. The Wii collection has grown as well, a lot more than last time. Again, a lot of it was free, some of it I bought, but it was free. Can't complain with that. Been buying a few Dreamcast games as well. Got a couple on the way. I've got Grand Theft Auto 2 on the way. Nightmare Creatures 2, awesome. Code Veronica, I've already got it for PS2, but some Japanese games. Of all the consoles I've got, my favourite is probably still Saturn. I absolutely love the Saturn. I mean, I don't know if it's just a nostalgia thing, because yeah, I know it's not technically as good as the PS1 and it doesn't have as many games and all that shite, but I don't know, I just got so many memories of playing that as a kid. I think that's my favourite. And I would have said a couple of days ago that this was my favourite controller ever, but I've changed my mind because I now have this, which is fucking awesome. And what I don't understand is I have this, it's comfy, got 8 main buttons, analog sticks, blah blah blah. Why the fuck didn't they use this for the Dreamcast? I mean, it's got 2 more buttons, it's way more comfortable. Fucking idiot. This is probably one of my favourite games ever. And I'm choosing the Saturn version because it's the one I used to play as a kid. But it's probably the first FPS I've ever really played. When I was, it would have been like 6, something like that. Anyway, I love that. I got this, which I've heard is quite rare, I'm not sure, but it's fucking awesome. I'd never even heard of it until a couple of years ago. Definitely didn't see it as a kid, but I really like that. Die Hard Trilogy is another one I played as a kid. I absolutely love it. Again, played it on the Saturn. It's been like 6 or 7 or something. I know when I play this that it's shit. I mean, the graphics are shit. The handling shit, everything's shit about it. I absolutely love this game. Again, it might just be a nostalgia trip thing, but awesome. One of my favourite racing games ever. This is probably my favourite Street Fighter game. I mean, I would say Alpha 3, but they didn't release it for the Saturn, and I prefer playing these on the Saturn. Yeah. I only played this game when I got a Mega CD, which was 2 years ago, in fact. A year and a half ago, something like that. And this game's amazing. I know it's out on iPhone and stuff like that, so I should have played it before, but I hadn't. Probably my favourite Sonic game. I really like that. Flashback is awesome. Again, one of my favourites. I mean, it's not the best version. In fact, it's not my favourite version at all. The 3DO is probably my favourite version, but I don't actually own this. This is probably one of my favourite shoot maps. I've heard there are others, and I don't have them, so I'll have to try and hunt these down. It's my favourite Castlevania game, although I do really like the PlayStation 1 version, I can't remember what it's called. I don't own it, also because it's ridiculously expensive, so this is my favourite one I own anyway. These games are fucking ace. Probably some of my favourite platforming games ever. Probably some of my favourite Star Wars games as well. Still one of my favourites. Probably, again, a nostalgia thing, because it was one of the first Mega Drive games I played, and blah blah blah. Another one that's probably a cliche to have as favourite, but this was fucking insane for Mega Drive. I mean, the graphics were great, music was awesome, whole thing was just awesome. The Lotus Turbo Challenge games are probably some of my favourite racing games as well. This one isn't my favourite. My favourite is probably Lotus 3 for Amiga, but which is I think is the same as this. Because we added some retarding naming system to it. I don't know. Now this one must be a nostalgia thing, because to have a golf game as one of your favourite games is fucking retarded. But I just used to love playing this with my parents, and trying to hit the golf cart and make it explode on the driving range. I can't believe someone paid 40 quid for this, what the fuck? I mean, really. I got 2 of the Puyo Pop games. The first one I got was the DS one, and I really liked that, so I thought I'd give the Mega Drive one to go. And they're pretty damn good. I was watching a video recently, and someone called this a failed mascot, and really underplayed how fucking awesome this game is. So, yeah, I don't have that Command 2 anymore. I used to have it, so I'll have to buy that again. This one's probably my favourite of the Strike games, purely because it was the first one I played, and I played it so much, and I remember playing this with my dad. I haven't played a whole ton of this, but I really like it so far. I need to put more effort into that, really. I think I prefer the Saturn version, which I have somewhere. Yeah, but you know, I should probably play the first one before I finish the Saturn one. It's another of my favourite platformers, and no one really remembers it. I've got the 3DO version as well, but this is the one I remember playing. This blew my mind when it came out. I mean, I would have been... What's the date on it? Let me have a look. 1993. So yeah, I would have been 5, and yeah, I loved RoboCop and Terminator when I was 5. They were like my favourite films. So this was just fucking amazing, absolutely blew my mind, I loved it. And picking Road Rash 2 was my favourite. My favourite on the Mega Drive. My favourite one is the Mega CD version, which I don't have, because it was only released in America, and I don't have an American Mega CD. But this is my favourite one on the Mega Drive. I love 1 and 3 as well, but I don't know, again, probably nostalgia. I've probably said the word nostalgia like a million fucking times in this video, but there you go. This might be my favourite fighting game ever. Last Blade, Final Edition. I never had Nintendo as a kid, so this is probably, you know, closest thing I had to Castlevania. And I remember we bought my granddad a Master System and a bunch of games. In fact, most of these we bought at the time. I think the Mega Drive had just come out, so this was cheap as fuck, and he wanted a console. He'd been playing an Atari 2600, and he played the shit out of that, so we got him a Master System, and this was one game that he was fucking awesome at. Obviously, the Mega Drive on life support is one of my favourite things in this room. It's just, look at this. It's the most ugly contraption in the world, but it's fucking awesome. This is probably one of my favourite RPGs I've ever played. I remember I went into Blockbuster and I just saw it behind the counter and I just thought it looked awesome. And obviously the Sega logo pulled me in, being a gay-ass Sega fanboy. I really love the old Advanced Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And these are like the best ones in my opinion. Amiga's just awesome for this kind of RPG stuff. Look at the amount of shit you get in these things, it's awesome. Got maps and shit. Posters shit. Rule books. It's like you don't get half of this shit with games anymore, it's fucking great. Oh, there's the receipt, I've never noticed that before. Hell, £30. It's mad to think how expensive games used to be. Both the Monkey Island games for Amiga. I remember playing these a lot, like we'd skip school and go to our friend's house. He was really into all the click and play adventures and shit. So we'd just, pretend we were going to school and instead go to his house and just play these all day. Same with Police Quest. That was another one we used to play a lot. Red Alert was like the first RTS I really played. Not the PlayStation version. I mean, fucking sucks with a controller. This box is empty. It's not. Yeah. But I used to play it on PC. I mean, I kind of went through a phase from like 9 till 14 where I wasn't really into consoles. I only really had PCs. I'm tempted to say this is my favourite racing game ever. It's just so good. I mean, I've been playing it since it came out, and I'm still not bored of it. I mean, I play this probably once every couple of weeks, if not more often. I have it on my phone, I have it on my laptop for when I, go places. Yeah. Resident Evil 1. I used to have the non-stupid-ass Value series version of this, but I have no fucking idea where it went. But this is still my favourite Resident Evil game. They're closely followed by the remake, or maybe even surpassed by the remake. Because, yeah, it's fucking great. But I never had a GameCube as a kid, so I never really played the remake. I think I've got it down here. So, yeah. So this is the one I remember most, but fucking loved it. I mean, Resident Evil 2 was good as well. It was really good. I remember playing this a lot with my friends, but yeah, something special about the mansion and shit in Resident Evil 1. Rayman, another of my favourite platformers. I don't even need to explain why everyone's played Rayman. This is ingrained into my brain from when I was a kid. There was a guy down the road from me, and his dad bought a PS1. We had a Sega Saturn at the time. We never had a PS1 when it was new. Probably why the Saturn's my favourite. I remember watching him play this a lot. The guy down the road, his dad used to play a hell of a lot. And yeah, I really wanted it. And I was so bummed out when I found out it wasn't out for Saturn. That's where my first memories of Final Fantasy are as well. Watching that guy's dad doing the chocobo races and shit. I used to have this for PC when it came out, and it just fucking blew my mind. I mean, a 3D world, and you could drive cars, and you could climb buildings, and I mean, it was like Grand Theft Auto 3 before Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. And that was just mind-blowing for me at the time. I absolutely love that game. Manhunt. Again, I probably don't need to explain why that's so awesome. I don't have Manhunt 2. I need to get that. This isn't my favourite Metal Slug game. I'm not really sure what my favourite is. I like all of them. But, yeah, I don't have the anthology, because I know there's a PS2 anthology. I don't have that yet. But, I've got that installed on my Wii. But I've got 3 and 4 anyway. This is the first Persona game I played. In fact, I haven't actually played much of the others. I've played a bit of 4. But this one, God, I spent so many hours playing this. Really love this. It's the only Fatal Frame or Project Zero 2 that I've played much of. I've got the first one, and I've got the one for Wii, but yeah, this one just, it was awesome. I mean, I remember playing this on an emulator on my laptop when I worked in a mortuary. Playing this at night time in a mortuary is awesome. That's also the first place I played and completed Silent Hill 2. So I had the PC version on the laptop, and people don't die that often, so there was a lot of free time, so I just sit down in a dark mortuary and play this. Yeah, that was creepy and awesome. This game I played a whole lot of when I was a teenager. Fucking awesome. I played a lot of this as a teenager. I mean, I can't really pinpoint why I like it so much, but I really love this game. Wind Waker was I think it was the first proper cell-shaded game I played, and I think the main reason I like this game so much is because of the way it looks. I mean, yeah, it plays alright, it plays really good, but it's not as good as the others. I mean, to me, it's not as good as Ocarina of Time, it's not as good as the first one, it's not as good as the SNES version, but just looking at this is nice. But these are probably my favourite 2 NES games. I don't have the boxes and the maps and all that, which is a shame. I've just got the cartridges, but still, these are expensive enough as they are, so I don't mind. But yeah, these are fucking ace. I mean, the first, everyone gives the second one a bunch of everyone slags off the second one. I think it was great. I mean, it was a good idea as well. Yeah, if you haven't played it, give it a go, because you'll see why everyone complains about it. But I really like it. Amigas, 500 plus and 500. I didn't have one as a kid, but I did have an Atari ST with just so much stuff, and yeah, so this is better in my opinion. I didn't realise that as a kid. I thought the Atari was better. I had that when I was like 7. I guess that was my first real computer, I guess. And I used that a lot until I upgraded to a Pentium 300 in 1997. Which, if you think about it, a Pentium 300 in 1997 was fucking great. So yeah, my parents spoiled me a bit.
Pikachu N64.
I got that from an old friend. I don't use it because I have this. But, you know, it's nice to have. Not a game, but here's my custom guitar. I had that made in 2006, maybe? Yeah. And since I've got that, I don't really like playing anything else too much. Got a Ibanez 7-string back there as well, but that really needs to I really need to change the pickups in that because they are fucking awful.